Hey guys, so for the first part of this video, I want to show you how to build an application using Spring. So we're just going to jump right into it. So we have here our empty Eclipse project. First thing I'm going to do is right click, go to new, project, and then up here we want to type in Maven. That's the type of project that we're going to be using because it's basically a project that is well structured, so you can go about using the Spring framework easily. Alright, so after we select Maven project, we go to next. After we do that, simply go down here, next, and we want to make sure that this is selected, Maven Archer type quick start. Go to next, and then up here we want to add our group ID and our artifact ID. So the artifact ID is basically just going to be our project name, where the group ID is going to be the actual package name. So let's start off with this project name, in which I'm just going to name Spring Proj. And then the group ID is going to be com.study spring. Let's just do that. Okay, so we're going to go to finish. And this application is going to be created. Okay. Alright. So we have the project here. Alright, and the first thing that we want to do is go down here to this POM file. Alright. We want to go to our POM file, and then we want to click on this tab down here that is called pom.xml. Now in this pom.xml file is basically a file where we're going to be adding all of our dependencies. So all the libraries that we're going to be using in this particular application. So right now we're going to be using Spring, and basically in order to add those dependencies you would have to have something that looks like this, but it would have to reference the Spring framework pretty much. So I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to go first of all to the browser, and what we want to do is first of all go to Google, and then we want to type in MVN repository. Alright, once you make your way there, you're going to click on this first link, and here there are going to be 3 dependencies that we're going to be adding to our application in order to just simply run an application in Spring. Alright, so the first thing that we need to do is type in Spring Core. So we go up here, Spring Core, enter. Go to Spring Core, click here, and then we can just click here, the latest release. And then from here we can just add that dependency. You remember from this pom.xml file, we just need to add the dependency there. So we're going to add this dependency. Just copy and paste this and add it between these 2 dependencies tags. Control V. Just formatted it. Okay, and there's another dependency. There are 2 more dependencies that we need to add. So I've already searched for these 2 dependencies, and the next one is this one called Spring Context. So when you're looking for that, you just type in Spring Context, click on the latest release, and just copy this here. Go back to Eclipse and just paste this here. Alright, and there's one more that we need to add, and that is called let's see, Spring Beans. Alright, so this is another one that we need to add. You can pretty much just add these anywhere within this pom.xml file. So now we have all of the libraries that we need. That's one of the things about Maven, is that you can just simply copy and paste the dependencies that you need in here, and then from there you'll be able to reference whatever you need to reference within the Spring framework when you go about creating a Spring application. Okay, so we're done with our pom.xml file. So we want to exit this, and we want to go back up here to our project, and we want to open up this source main.java. If you realize in the source main.java, we have a class called app.java. And this is basically just an application object. And as you can see, the only thing that it does is just print out hello world if we run the application as a Java application. You should eventually see that we're going to be getting hello world, but I think it's taking some time here. Alright, and we get hello world here. Alright, so what we need to do is create ourselves an application in Spring. Alright, so the first thing that we need to do is create an object. So we want to right click this package that we have or create a new class. Go to class, and then from here we want to type in this object called ball. We just want to go finish. And in this ball class, it's going to be a pretty simple class. We're just going to add some attributes of the ball as well as some getter and setter methods associated with each one of those particular attributes. So we want to go up here and go public string. You can say color. Another attribute of the ball can be, I guess let's say who owner. Let's just say that owner, who owns the ball. Another thing is going to be type of ball. Alright, so as you can see here, we have a couple of attributes associated, with this ball that we have here, and we just want to write our getter and setter methods. Generate our getter and setter methods, actually. Generate getters and setters. Select all. Go to OK. Alright, so we have our getter and setter methods associated with each of the attributes of this particular ball, and that's pretty much it for this ball class that we have here. Now the next thing that we want to do when we're creating an application in Spring is to create this thing called a bean configuration file. So we want to go up to our Spring project, right click, go to new, go to other, just type in config. Okay, config, and then you want to go down here, Spring Bean configuration file. Go to next. After we do that, we just want to type in bean.xml. Actually, beans. We're going to name this beans XML, and go to next. Next. Finished. And as you can see here, we have our beans.xml file. It already includes some XML already in here. So basically what we want to do now is actually write ourselves beans now. So basically when you're in your bean configuration files, basically a metadata configuration file that allows you to inject dependencies into a class. So in my previous videos I was talking about dependency injection. This bean.xml is going to allow you to inject those dependencies into this ball class. So the first thing that we need to do is create ourselves this thing called a bean, this bean element. And inside this bean element there's going to be this thing called an ID. You want to set this equal to just a name of the bean, and in order to make this really simple, we're just going to name this ball. And then another attribute that we need to add to this bean element would be class. Now this class is going to be set equal to the fully qualified name of this ball object, and as you can see here, this is the fully qualified name. Ultimately we would just have to add the word ball to the end. So we just want to go up here, copy this, go back to our bean.xml, right there, Control V, and just dot ball. And that's pretty much it. So now we have our bean, and if you realize in this ball we have different attributes of this ball. So how will we go about passing this information into this ball object? So when we go auto wiring, remember in my previous video I said we can auto wire through constructor, through setter methods, or just other methods within that particular class. So right now we're just gonna inject some dependencies into the setter methods that I have. So a way to do that would be to go inside our bean element, and then go inside our bean element, and then from there we would actually go property, and then inside this property we want to have a name, and we also want to have a value. Alright, so this name is going to be set equal to the name of the actual property in ball. So we're going to grab color first. Alright, color, and we actually have 3 properties, so we just want to copy this 2 more times. And we have owner, and then we have type. Just want to make sure. Yep, type. Save this, and then from here we're just going to add some values. So basically we're adding the values that are to be injected inside of this ball object from the outside. So for the color we're just going to say red, and for the owner what we want to do, we want to say max, and for the type we actually want to say, let's just say football. Save. Alright, now there's another thing I forgot to do in this ball class here. I'm just going to add myself a toString method, so we're just going to generate that real quick. I'm going to go to source, generate toString method, press OK, and then from here what I wanted to do was to actually just write out a string message that's going to clearly it's basically just going to construct a sentence consisting of all the values that we passed into this ball class. So I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to go return, and then I'm going to go this plus get color plus get type plus belongs to space plus get owner. So as you can see, what's basically going to happen here is that it's just going to construct a sentence that says this color of the ball and then the type of the ball belongs to the owner of the ball. So I'm going to go back to our bean, and as you see here, we've created ourselves a bean. Inside of that bean we have our associated properties, and for each one of these properties that are in this ball class, we're just injecting information, we're injecting information into each one of those setter methods, as you can see here. Alright, so in order to do this, in order to start running this application and see some results, we're actually going to go back to our application object, and inside of our application object we just want to remove this. We don't have to, but we can remove this for right now. And what we need to do is create ourselves an application context. Application context equals file system XML application context. All right, now this is basically a container that is used to manage beans that we create within this bean.xml file. And in here, we just want to type in beans.xml. All right, so we want to save this, and let's see what's going on here. Equals new, actually. That's what I forgot. Alright, new. Alright. Press save. And now after that, what I want to do is type in ball, create a object reference of ball, b equals, and then I want to go ball, and then context dot get bean, and then the name of the bean that I created, which is ball. So I want to go into this file, and I want to get the bean that I created right here, and this is the name of the bean that I'm referring to in this beans.xml, ball. Alright, so from there I want to go sys out b.toString. And that's how you would set up a basic Spring application. One thing I want to do now is just simply run this application. And as you can see here, this is what we get. This red football belongs to Max. So if we look back here, this color, we have the type, and then we have Max. And you can see how each one of those values sync up here. Alright, so this is how you create a basic application using the Spring framework. Hey guys, now what I want to do is show you how to create an application using SpringBoot, or create a Spring application using SpringBoot. So we have an empty project here. What we want to do, right click, new project. We're going to do the same thing that we did last time, create ourselves a Maven project. From here, go to next, next, and then we just add project name, SpringBoot Proj. Alright, then we're just going to go com study boot. Go to finished. It'll take certain time for our application to load up. Alright, so just like before, the first thing that we need to do is add our dependencies. So we want to go to our pom.xml file, and then we want to go down here to this tab, pom.xml, and then from here we just want to add our dependencies. So in order to figure out what dependency we need for SpringBoot, you can simply go to Google, type this in, SpringBoot, and you just click on the first link that you see here. And then it's going to take you to this page. And then from here, this shows you the dependency that you need for adding that SpringBoot dependent, for adding that SpringBoot library. So we need this parent, which is going to go above this dependencies tag, open dependencies tag that we have there. So we go up here, open dependencies tag, we want to put parent there, and we want to go back and just copy this dependency right here. These are the two libraries that we're going to be using. Well, this is the one library that we're going to be using, but the parent, we also have to include this within this pom.xml file. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is go up to our source main Java, open this app.java, and just like before, when we run this, we're going to get hello world in the console. Gonna wait a little bit. Alright, so we get hello world, and we're just simply going to create an application in Spring. So we want to remove this, but the first thing we actually want to do is go up top here and add this annotation at SpringBoot application. After we do that, we just want to simply run an application in Spring. And as I said before, running applications using SpringBoot is a whole lot faster. For this particular application, we're not going to be, injecting any beans or anything like that. We just simply, I just wanted to create a short video that would just simply show you how to run a Spring application using SpringBoot. Alright, so I'm just going to go Spring application dot run, then app dot class, and then args. And that's all you need to do to run an application using SpringBoot. As I did in my previous video, I did some dependency injection, but the goal of these two videos is to just show you how to run an application using Spring, and then how to run an application using SpringBoot. So I'm just going to run this now. And as you see in the console, our application is currently running. We're using SpringBoot that you can see here. There's a lot more information about the things that are running when we first start up the application. And this is pretty much it. This is pretty much how you run an application in SpringBoot. And that's it. So if you have any questions about this, just leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video if you've learned something here. Also subscribe, and see you in the next one.